The aim of Black Mental Matters is to tell experiences with honesty. Therefore, some discussions may trigger an adverse reaction. If a discussion is beginning to upset you, we advise that you please stop listening and talk to your support team.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Black Mental Matters. It's your boy Vince the Voice. I'm back. I'm Black, and you know I'm glad to see you. Glad to be here with you, because today we're talking about something that many people, including myself, experience, but far few people talk about. You know, what happens when you've done everything you think or that you were supposed to do? You built a career, you raised a family, you worked hard, you achieved goals. And from the outside, boy, life looked like, I'm telling you, looks wonderful. But on the inside, you're exhausted. Maybe you're burned out. Maybe you're questioning your purpose. Maybe you're wondering what's next. Well, our guest today has spent years exploring those very questions. After working with organizations including Goldman Sachs, FedEx, Bank of America, Chick-fil-A, love them chicken sandwiches, Philip Blackett, he began noticing a pattern that many high achievers appeared successful on the outside, but were quietly struggling with fatigue, declining health, burnout, and questions about purpose and identity. And then rather than simply pushing harder, Philip began studying the connection between physical health, mental health, that's mean mental wellness, leadership, faith, and personal fulfillment. Now, he is the founder of Life After 40, where he helps adults navigate midlife with greater clarity, strength, energy, and purpose without burnout and without extreme. Author, speaker, husband, father, lifelong learner, whose mission is helping people thrive in that second half. I don't know what quarter I'm in, third, or am I in my fourth already? Whatever it is, listen, okay. Yeah, the time is ticking, whether it's physically, emotionally, relationally, and spiritually. Philip, welcome to Black Mental Matters, man.
Listen, brother, Vince, thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Well, man, I'm so glad to meet you, first of all. And you initially reached out to me, and the rest, like they say, is history. So, but before we jump into our topic, I'd love for the audience to learn just a little bit more about you. You've had success in business, leadership, education, but somewhere along the way, you noticed a pattern with the high achievers. Let's talk about it, man. Tell me about Philip.
Yeah, so life after 40 for me literally started from my own midlife crisis. Literally on my 40th birthday. It was Thanksgiving 2024. And so I recently relocated my family from Boston down to Florida. We were having Thanksgiving dinner with extended family. And as you were listening before, Vince, like on paper for me at that point, there's a lot of things on the outside that a lot of people would say, hey, like, you're
Good.
doing pretty well, Philip. You got a lot to be grateful for. You went to a lot of great schools. You worked at a lot of great companies. You got married. You got twin daughters. Like, what's there to be ungrateful for, right? And I always say to people, like, looks can be deceiving because it's one of those things where it's just like you're just unsure that everything on the outside is fitting with what you're feeling on the inside. And for me, what was looking great, it looked great, but I wasn't feeling good on the inside. To your point, I was burned out. I was overweight. I was part of the 300 club, but not the 300 club you want to be a part of. It's not this is Sparta. It's not that type of club.
Yeah.
And for me, I was at a point where I was trying to figure out, where do I go here in this chapter of my life? I got my wife situated, my kids situated. Oftentimes as husbands and fathers, we try to take care of others in our family as we should before ourselves. And at some point, we got to also ask ourselves the question, okay, what about me?
Yeah.
Where do I go from here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I also recognize at the same point, when I was feeling this way at the dinner table, right before they're about to show me birthday cake, right? Whatever decision I made at that point, that was going to be a decision whether it was going to be one that's going to be self-constructive for me, or it could potentially be self-destructive. And that decision would not only impact myself, it would also impact my family,
Yeah.
my wife, my kids, people that were connected with me. And I say all that because there may be somebody listening that may be in one of those crossroads right now where things are not the way they were thinking it would be, but they also hopefully recognize that whatever decision they make, this may be one you may be able to reverse or maybe not. This may be solely contained to you, or it may have a ripple effect to other people, even to people you love and care about.
Mm.
And so I had to realize that, whatever I decided, I need to make the best decision. And what
Yes.
I did was, after that dinner, I actually left social media. I went dark for 6 months.
Mm.
And during that time, and I did that because I didn't want a bunch of noise in my head at a time where I was trying to figure out what is my next move.
It can be noisy. You're right about that.
And what I recognized too, Vince, was two things. Well, actually three. One, um, when you're off social media for an extended period of time, the world keeps spinning.
Yes.
Life keeps going
Yes.
without you.
Mm.
Second, people can forget about you unless the algorithm reminds them that you exist,
Mm.
like a birthday, right? Outside of that, no idea. But the most important lesson was the people that my life mattered at the time during that time was my wife, my kids, and my mother.
Mm.
And for them, my life mattered.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I realized that because my life mattered to them, I should find some reason that my life mattered to me. And that's when I dug into it deeply to figure out that my life is worth living. Midlife is worth living.
Yes.
And once I thought it was worth living at that point, then the thought was, well, if I'm going to live, how do you want to live? And I was like, well, I'm only getting older from here. I'm not going to be that same 20-year-old I was in college, but that shouldn't be a reason why I can't live well. So now thinking that not only midlife is worth living, but also thinking on top of that, midlife is worth living well.
Mm.
And for me, like I said, burned out, overweight, confused about where my life is going at this point, purpose wise. Where do I start? And it started for me just with a simple walk around the neighborhood one morning,
Yes. Yes.
just walking outside, listening to nature, listening to birds and fresh air, actually moving. I did that, come back home. I was like, that felt good. Let's do it again tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. We should do this on a regular.
Yeah.
And then I asked myself a question that was dangerous. If I like that, what else could I improve in my life?
Mm.
So then it went from walking to now bike riding,
Uh-oh.
swimming.
Uh-oh.
Now I'm like reevaluating what I'm eating. Now I decide, oh, maybe I should get 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should be more careful of the things I'm reading, with the music I'm listening to, the atmosphere I'm in, mentally speaking, for my own mental wellness.
Mm-hmm.
So I eventually got to a point over a number of months, Vince, that I was in a much better place than I was 6 months or so before,
Yes.
which is great. I'm not burned out. I'm not overweight. But that last part, what do you do from here? I didn't want to do those type of jobs I did before. Like, I feel like I learned the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like everything's been preparing me for this new chapter. I just didn't know what the chapter was. And so the question that came off that helped me out with that was, from what I experienced before and the journey I journeyed through up to this point, my own midlife transformation journey, I wonder how many other people probably go through something similar, whether they admit it or not, publicly or not.
Raise your hand wherever you at, fellas, especially, but ladies too. But fellas, raise your hand if you know what he's talking about. Yeah, go ahead.
And they had that crossroads.
Mm-hmm.
They had that question of whether or not this decision is going to be constructive or destructive. It's going to impact me or people beyond me. And wouldn't it have been helpful to have somebody that they could trust, confide in, learn from, or just a helpful resource to like, hey, let's help you make the best decision off of this and then build upon it in a way that's constructive for you and the people that surround you. So that's where Life After 40 came from, because the thought was whatever was helpful for me, like I'm basically client zero here. And the thought was when I bettered myself, other things benefit as well. I was a better husband.
Yeah.
I was a better father.
Yeah.
I was a better entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I was a better friend, better community member. And the thought was, can we generate that same ripple effect that if I help out another person and that person becomes a better spouse, a better mother, a better husband or father, you have stronger families as a result. Maybe that person's better in the workplace now. Then you have stronger workplaces. Now you have more supportive people you can confide into, especially amongst men. Now you have stronger communities.
Yes. Yes.
So the thought was we wanted to build Life After 40 in a way that helps people thrive in the second half of life, lead their families well, perform at a higher level at work, and strengthen the communities around them. And that's what we're here to do.
Brother Philip Blackett, everybody, is Life After 40. And I tell you what, everything happens for a reason. You know, this period in my life now, and I wish I'd have found you 20 years ago, because now I'm life after 60, 63 in a few weeks here coming up. But it seemed to me as I was contemplating exactly what you were talking about and then sharing that with a couple of other people, that they were feeling the exact same thing. And so, like, what I like to say, the best thing about, for me, Black Mental Matters, of course, we're helping folks, but it's like therapy session for me as well. And for those of you that are listening in, I hope you listen to what Philip was saying about, with our lives. And so burnout, man, you mentioned burnout a lot. How can you tell the difference? There's such thing as just being tired, you just work and but then that burnout is something different. What would you say is the difference between just being tired and actually being burned out?
Yeah, I think being tired could be one that's like, oh, I'm tired. Well, go take a nap.
Okay.
You take a nap and then you wake up, okay, I feel better. Oh,
Yeah.
that's all I wanted. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
Burnout is when you have a good amount of sleep and you still wake up exhausted. You still feel like, why am I doing this? You're still asking yourself those tough questions you're not wanting to admit to people, where you say to yourself, and I've been there multiple times where like, is this all that life is at this point for me? Am I happy with where things are?
Right. Right. Well, many people, myself included, we tie your identity to your work or your accomplishments, and then at some point, sometimes it becomes that that's no longer providing fulfillment. Whew, man, was that a big, a big day? It's like, well, I used to love running around with a camera. I used to love doing this stuff. Now it's like, jeez.
Yep.
How do we handle that, man?
Well, and I think you hit on the key point too, Vince. We have to be careful about is, when we ask ourselves, especially when you meet somebody, it's like, hey, what's your name? I'm Philip. What's the next question that usually comes up when you introduce
What do you
yourself?
do? Right. What do you do, Doug?
Oh,
Yeah.
I am a
Yeah.
fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Well, what happens when you're no longer that fill in the blank?
Mm,
Because for a lot of people, they put so much of their stock and identity and self worth in what they do,
mhm.
justifiably so, especially if you do it well.
Yeah,
At the same time, I also recognize this too, Vince. None of us stay here forever,
right.
let alone stay in the same stage we are currently at. Like I said, I can't stay as much as I want to. I can't stay in that 21-year-old body that I used to be in 20 years ago. It changed.
You
I can't
change.
go back to it.
Well, you talked
What
about it, man. The fact of being. 'Cause it shocked me. You said 300. I got on the scale and it was 250. I was like 250. What? And due to going to see my doctor. So last time we talked. So as in this moment in time, I'm 76 days into no smoking, no drinking, and it has been a change in my life. I tell you what, because that physical health it affects our mental health,
Mhm.
right? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things that like, I'm so happy to hear that you're continuing that streak, Vince, for
Mm,
sure, because a lot of times when people look at how they can change their lives for the better physically, those are two of the most powerful ways to do it,
mhm,
along with walking. Stop smoking and cut back on drinking. If you did something as simple as stop smoking and cut back, you can't quit the alcohol altogether, but if you can cut drinking, I know the American Heart Association gives guidelines where it talks about for women up to 1 drink a day, and for men up to 2 drinks a day. But what you recognize off of that is there's no six packs here.
mm,
There's no binge drinking.
mhm,
There's no getting drunk as a part of this. You can't. I mean, unless the drink is really, really strong, but then you might have to revise a guideline on that one. But 1 or 2 drinks probably isn't going to do it. But I also say that because, especially amongst our community, a lot of us have family histories that include diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, cancer,
kidney disease, all those.
kidney failure, heart disease. A
Yes.
lot of that comes from our lifestyles, what we
That's right.
do on the physical side of things, what we ingest, what we smoke, what we drink, right? How we move. That, to your point as well, if you're not feeling so good and you're not looking so good in the mirror, for some people, it's a impetus for them to change, to be better. Say, I don't want to be this way. I don't want to be 250 no more on the scale,
Right.
right? That's enough for you to say, hey, something got to go.
Right. Right. Right.
And the sad part is, for others, that may be that slippery slope that they say, hey,
Might as
why,
well.
why bother?
Why bother? Yeah.
And
Because
I might as well enjoy it while I'm
yeah.
here for
Yeah.
the remainder of I'm here. And that's a tough admission to make for yourself because oftentimes we make it to ourselves and not publicly in front of others. Because if we said that to others, people would like, no, Vince, no, Philip, don't do that.
Right.
That's not a good move. We need you here. We want you here.
Right.
We want you to be here beyond 55. We
Right.
want you to be here beyond 70. We want you to see your grandkids. We want you to be around for them when they graduate from college.
Mm,
And I think the challenging part is that, yeah, when you're in your own thoughts and no one else is in there, and all you can see is what you see in the mirror
mm.
and how you feel, that's a tough space to be in. And it's also one why something as simple as taking better care of yourself physically can actually help, especially if you can just see the momentum, just a
Yes.
little bit of change.
Little bit at a time, step
And
by
like I
step.
said before, what was the dangerous question? I said, man, if I could do this, what else can I do to improve my life?
Yeah.
That's the question more of us should say, because now it started with you too, Vince. Day one, tough, but I
Whew.
got through it.
Dude, I
Hmm.
got on that treadmill the first time I remember, I think after like 7 minutes, I was like, baby, that's enough. My wife is cheering me on and thank God for her. She's like, yeah, ooh, she's smiling at me. I'm feeling good, boy. And I got to that 5 minute mark. I'm going, what? I'm way past that now, but it is possible. Change is possible. But you reach this midlife and you start thinking you stuck, that it's just too late. It's too late for me to get healthier. It's too late for me to be happier, too late to be more fulfilled. And I'm just trapped by the choices I made. I done smoked all these years. I might as well, like you said, keep on smoking, keep on drinking. But that's not the way, man. There is
Uh-uh.
a great second half of life that's here for us.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And that thing where when you went past 5 minutes, Vince,
Yeah,
did
boy.
you ask yourself afterwards once you recovered, I wonder if I can make 6 minutes tomorrow
Exactly.
or next time? And
Exactly.
now, how many minutes can you do on a treadmill?
Man, I can go past an hour. And
See?
and the amazing part was the first time I did the past an hour, and I mean past an hour, I was on a business trip and made the decision to each day get up and get to that gym that they have in the hotel. And I got up there and put my headphones on and watched the news at 4:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning or something. And it was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah.
So, like, you're a testimony in itself, Vince,
Mm,
a living example for a lot of people that it's not too late for you. It
yeah.
just all depends on how you perceive it in your head.
Mm. You work with a lot of high, folks or people that high achievers, we want to say, busy professionals, we want to say. How can they rebuild their energy without, extreme diets? Because that's what's hitting us all the time. You need to be on the cucumber diet. All you eat is cucumbers and drink water. Man, there's no way. I'm a carnivore. And boy, I tell you what, expensive programs, all these unrealistic routines. I mean, what advice would you give someone who may be quietly approaching that breaking point?
The funny thing about events is with diets in particular, even the cucumber diet, right?
Yeah,
We live in a culture that pretty much props up immediate gratification. We want the summer body right now.
right now. That's right.
We want to lose those pounds right now. And the challenge with those diets is they can work, but are you going to keep eating cucumbers only for the rest of your life? The answer is no.
Mhm.
And
Right.
the biggest thing I say on that, Vince, is that what I try to help people with is find something that is simple, sustainable, and healthy. And the big emphasis here is actually sustainable, meaning you being on the treadmill and now still being able to do it for an hour. And you're enjoying enough where you're able to do it early in the morning to get your day started right.
Mhm.
That now has become sustainable for you because you recognize the benefits that come out of it. And you can do it in a way where you don't feel like you are exhausting yourself, where you feel like, oh man, I don't want to do that again.
Right.
It's now like, oh, I actually enjoy it.
Right.
I can't wait to do it tomorrow or the
Right.
next day.
Right.
And so when I think about high achievers or just people in general, right, it's not much of a difference. I kind of look at it like it's like a puzzle for me to figure out, something that I have fun with. And here's why, Vince. Whether it's dealing with nutrition, exercise, mindset, or recovery, the core four of what we talk about in life after 40, our core four pillars. If it's nutrition, what's going on in my head is you got a good sense of the good type of foods to eat. You got to make sure you have protein, fiber, healthy fats, slow burning complex carbohydrates, plenty of water. You can have a list of all the foods that fit in those categories. And I can come to you, Vince, and say, hey, Vince, I got this list of all these different foods that are good for you. They're not ultra processed. They're not fatty. They're not, going to leave your blood sugar doing one of these as far as a roller coaster and that sort of afterwards.
Right. Right.
What do you enjoy eating off of this list?
Mhm.
Same thing for movement, exercise. What do you enjoy doing for exercise?
Is it
Some
walking?
people don't want to walk outside because they get sweaty.
Jumpy jacks, whatever.
Some people some people want to dance.
Yes, yes.
Well,
Skating, skating.
skating,
Mhm.
plug that in. You like skating? Okay. When can you go skating during the week?
Mm,
Well, it's something you enjoy, so you want to do it. So now you're probably going to make time for it.
that's right.
Oh, I can go after work. I got time at like 7 o'clock on Wednesdays. I know they got this thing at the local skating ring for that time. I want to go there that time. Do it. 'Cause here's what I know. If you enjoy it,
Yeah, I
you'll
do.
probably do it again.
That's right.
And if you enjoy it then, you'll do it again without me asking. So then it becomes something you enjoy and it becomes more of a habit for you. And so then the question becomes, like I said, what else could you do? And so I think that's the biggest thing is getting away from fad diets and like exercising yourself to exhaustion. It's more so it's like, let's figure out what works for you. What do you enjoy? Because the thought is if I can help you find something you enjoy doing, you're going to want to do it regardless if I mention or not. You just want validation that that's the right type of thing to do. It's the right type of food to eat. And you could just take it from there. And for a high achiever, let's say, they're like, say less. That sounds much more empowering to me than my dietitian told me, or that this, diet program they showed on late at night or on an ad on Facebook or something. You got to find what's sustainable. And I think that's really the key word here.
Well, we are, man. I always say when it goes fast, that means it's good. And man, we have, I mean, just zipped through this 30 minutes almost. I have two more questions for you. First of all, I know that you're a man of faith. So I want to ask you what role faith plays during this season of transition and uncertainty for us middle lifers, if we will.
Yeah. So I was raised in the church in the South, growing up in Memphis, Tennessee. I had grandparents that were part of a Baptist church that our family grew up in. I say that because my father figure was my grandfather. I was raised by a single mother. So he was really the example for me of what a man should be like.
Hmm.
And then my grandmother was a Sunday school teacher,
Okay.
and she was the biggest spiritual influence for me.
Hmm.
Where now, when I impart that same thing to my kids, her great grandkids now, it's carrying on that tradition.
Yes.
And I think real quickly, when I talk about midlife being worth living, when I was in that tough period, I thought about a song my grandmother taught me when I was in Sunday school that the church would often sing on Sundays. You may know of it. It's because he lives.
Mm,
Because he lives, I can face tomorrow.
yes.
Because he lives, all fear is gone.
Mm,
Because I know, oh, oh, he holds the future.
yes.
Life is worth the living just because he lives.
Amen.
So I just
Amen.
adapted that
Yeah.
to midlife is worth living
Yes.
because he still lives. And
Yeah.
that's a big part of why faith has really been one that saved my life.
And he's living through you definitely by this outreach, this ministry. That's what I'm gonna call it, because man, we need it out here. What is life after 40? Before we wrap up, man, what Philip, if someone is listening right now and they're into that second half of life, feel like they've lost their way, what do you want them to know right now? Give them just a couple words, man, to get them going.
Yeah. I kind of shared it before and I stand by it. Midlife is worth living and worth living well. So when you think about it, every day we're above ground is a gift. That's why they call it the present. And so the question is, with the 24 hours you have today, how are you going to spend it? You often say that life is God's gift to us, and how we spend that life is our gift to God. So the question would be here, it's like, even if things are tough, Nobody promised this would be easy,
Right.
but they did say that it'd be worthwhile.
That's right.
But it all starts in how you think about it. And so my thought would be there is consider that your life is still worth living and worth living well.
Living well. You have the book, you have a program. How do people connect with you?
To learn more about me, about Life After 40, you can go to my website, lifeafter40.com. And to connect with me and see how we can work together, go to my personal website at philipblackett.com.
That's BLACKETT.
Yes, sir.
PhilipBlackett.com. Well, Philip, man, thank you so much for joining us, for sharing your wisdom, man, your experiences, your encouragement. And of course, we want to thank everyone for listening and watching. If today's conversation resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. I needed to hear it, so I know they do too. So, and always remember that seeking support is a sign of strength, not weakness. All right? Until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other. I'm Vince the Voice Bailey, and this has been Black Mental Matters. We'll see you next time.